All right, so here's a linear programming exercise, 6.1. Okay, I'm going to go through all of this again, I guess. So I read the problem. I found out that there's a farmer. They've got 100 acres. They're going to plant wheat and corn. They have 800 hours of labor available and $2,400 worth of capital to spend on seeds or plowing or whatever farmers spend money on. Kind of outlay, initial outlay money, right? And then wheat has the following properties. An acre of wheat takes 4 hours of labor to set up, $20 worth of capital to get running, and makes an $80 profit.
And those are per acre?
These are per acre. Corn, also in things listed per acre, takes 16 hours of labor, $40 worth of seeds, and provides $100 worth of profit. So, what?
It's just not worth it.
I'm pointing at the wheat like that's a
Four
decision.
times
Don't
the
look at
hours.
it.
Oh, yeah, this seems like probably, yeah, pretty good investment, right? But with limited space, right, maybe a little bit of this will be worth spending time on. If I've got free labor, you know, like kids or whatever, then I don't really care about the 16 hours worth of labor, right?
Well,
And
I
the
see.
cost becomes more important.
I assume the labor's put into the.
Yeah, probably the labor's put in someplace, but I don't know, 100 acres isn't a very big farm. So this might literally be this guy and his kids.
That's why you live in Nebraska and double that acreage.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do really actually effective farming, I think those start at about 5,000 acres.
Yeah.
Questions of scale aside, what are my equations? Like, I have all this good, right? How do I make this into equations?
You have an acreage constraint.
Okay, so there's total acres, right? So let me maybe make a couple variables up. What do you want to call the number of acres you plant wheat on?
A.
You say wheat? A.
Wheat, not wheat.
Why A?
I think I'm going to call that W, not A for acres, because I'm going to want to call corn something. We can't use A twice. So I'm going to call this W acres worth of wheat, right? What are you going to call corn? No, I'm going to get that confused with parentheses, so I'm going to call that R for corn.
Can you call it?
Oh, let's
for-
call it K for corn. That's
No,
all.
call it M for maize.
Fair point. Okay, we're going to call it M for maize. It doesn't really matter, right? Pick whatever variable you want, preferably not a parenthesis.
Picture of a dog.
Yeah, sure. Draw a picture of a dog. See how long it takes to solve the
Get
problem.
tiresome.
Okay, so what about my 100 acres now?
W plus M.
100 is W plus M. That's what? Is that a constraint or an objective?
I don't know. Constraint.
That's a constraint. Right? That's not the thing I'm trying to make biggest or smallest,
Yeah.
and thus it's one of the constraints. Also, right, I have the kind of variables I'm interested in finding out about and some number over here. Do I have to plant all my acreage?
No.
Probably not, but it's probably a good idea. So I think 100 has to be bigger than or equal to W plus M. Right? Okay, how about my, let's see, what else?
Hours.
My hours worth of labor. Okay, so what are my total hours? I have 800 hours available, and that's going to have to be more than what?
4W plus 16M.
4W plus 16M. Good. Is that a constraint or an objective? Yeah, that's also a constraint. Okay, what else? What else have I got in here?
Your seed.
C. What? Seed. Cool. So I have $2,400. Do I have to spend all of it?
No.
Probably not.
Ooh.
That's got to be bigger than or equal to what?
20W plus 40
20W plus 40M. Okay, good. And what else?
And our
Anything else?
objective.
Oh, this is a which?
So another constraint.
Oh, that's another constraint. Crap. I feel like I'm overloaded on constraints right now. What are the other two constraints? There's two more non-obvious constraints. Well, maybe obvious, but non.
The labor.
I got the labor. That's this one.
Oh,
I got the seed money. That's this one. I got the acres. That's this one. So what things haven't I accounted for in the problem? I think just the profit. That's going to be my objective, right? That's the thing I want to maximize. So what's the other constraint? There's two more constraints here.
our trivial constraints.
Yeah, that kind of trivial. Hey, it would be really dumb if you planted anti-corn or anti-wheat, right? Oh, I'm sorry, no, those aren't anti-corn or anti-wheat. Those are anti-acres planted with real corn. No idea what this is. Okay, so there's some like obvious, hey man, it has to live in the first quadrant kind of things, right? Okay, and my profit function, that was my objective. Okay, so what's my objective function? You guys fill me in there?
80W plus 100M.
Okay, maybe P, right, profit.
Yeah.
Let's see, and let's do this smartly. W and M. So profit as a function of W and M is 80W plus 100M. Okay. You guys all good with this? All right, now what?
Do we have to draw this as a shape?
I think I probably do, because otherwise I'm not sure where the corners are, right? That's the kind of high dimensional problem, is that in the higher dimensions I have no idea where the corners are. In this one, I think I can find the corners, but it's a touch of a pain in the butt, right? Okay, see that? Okay, so let's do it though, it's not so bad. So you make your axes, right? What are you going to call your axes?
W and M.
W and M, preferably in the order you wrote them in the profit function so that things aren't confusing later. We learned that yesterday. That was fun. And then which edges do I know about this thing already?
The 0, 0.
Yeah, so I know this is a hard edge here and this is a hard edge here. Those are these two, right? So check, check, I took care of those. Okay. All right, let's get the, which constraint was this? It's pink now? It's the,
Land.
yeah, this is the acreage constraint now. So what do I need to do with the acreage?
Plot it.
I need to plot this line, right? Okay, so where does this line go through conveniently?
0, 100, and 100, 0.
You guys both see that? Or all see that? Right? Both things set equal to 0 make the other thing 100. Right? So that's up here, down here, boom. This is 100, this is 100. Right? That's me thinking, hey, I could plant all the land with wheat, or I could plant all the land with corn. I don't know if I have money or labor to do that. You guys see that? But we could try. Or at least we could think about that idea. Okay, so I got the pink constraint on. Next color. Blue. All right, so what was this? 800 is bigger than 4m plus 16w. What constraint was that?
That one is
The labor constraint.
That was the labor constraint? Okay, so let me see. If I spent all my time planting wheat, right? If I drop the corn out of this,
200, 0.
I think I get out to 200 in the wheat direction, 0 in the corn. So that's going to be out here. Look at this. And if if I spent all my time planting corn and planted no wheat, where would I be? 50. Okay, so now I need a line through those two. That looks something like this. Cool. All right, and one more. Orange.
Money.
That's the money equation, right? That's my capital equation. How do I plot this? So if I spent all my money planting wheat, how much wheat could I plant? 120 acres. That's more than I've got anyway, right? That's out here someplace. That's at 120. Oops, that blue thing was at 50. Oh god, I lost my blue marker in my pocket. Okay, and if I planted no wheat and only corn,
60 acres.
I could get 60 acres. That's like here. So I get some kind of line like this maybe. So where's your feasibility polygon?
Sad.
Yeah,
Under
I'm
all
sad
three.
about this feasibility polygon.
Under all three.
Yeah, so this has to be under all three. So start here, start coloring until you hit stop. No missing. Okay, so then what are you interested in? What did the fundamental theorem of who's it say? Fundamental theorem of linear programming? What did that say? Yeah, maxes or mins happen at the corners. So now you gotta go find the corners. So there's this corner, there's this one, this one, and that one. You guys see that? So why am I not worried about the intersection between the blue line and the red line?
Mine kind of all meet at the same place.
Do they actually meet at the same place?
No, they don't, I guess.
I only have
That's
four.
fine, algebraic.
You only have 4.
We can graph it on a calculator.
Yeah, we could graph it on a calculator.
Oh, did your 100 line cut them?
Maybe,
Figure out the actual thing.
I don't know, mine just says
yeah, maybe to be totally sure here whether the orange line crosses above or below this intersection, we should figure out where that intersection is. You guys see that? Okay, well, we'll throw that on the list of stuff to do. So,
Find all
I'm
the
worried that
races.
maybe my picture's bad, and so maybe I should check that one too. Really, I'm going to check whether that fits into the which constraint first. Like, which law or which one of my constraints might that violate?
Money constraint.
Yeah, right now I've got it drawn outside of the money constraint. So I could just go find that intersection point and see if it meets the money constraint or not. My suspicion is that it does. Let's call this. All right, so let's see if we can start finding points. Some of them should be easy, right?
I like the idea that we have 5 constraints with 5 points.
Yeah, that makes me feel better about it too. So I think this one here should be easy to find. What's that?
Yeah.
That's 0, 0, right? What's the blue thing? Where's that hit here?
Zero, by, yeah,
That's 0 over 50 up. This one on the pink is 100 over 0 up. Okay, now I need to find where does orange hit pink. So how the heck do I manage that?
You said the orange and pink is fine.
Yeah, that's, okay, orange and pink have an intersection, right?
Two systems of equation.
So I've got 100 is W plus M, and 2400 is 20W plus 40M. and I want to solve this system of equations. So how do I do that?
Multiply the top one by minus 20.
Okay, so if I multiply the top one by minus 20, I get minus 2,000 is minus 20W minus 20M. And then what?
100 equals 20M.
Add those together. Good. Get 400 is 20M. So M is 20, and that forces W to be if you plant 20 acres of corn, how much you got left?
80.
80 acres left.
Oh. Not in that
Yeah.
equation.
Right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Plug 20 in, you get a 80 left. All right, so that's this intersection over here between which two?
Between the
That was cost and acreage. So that's this guy here. That one there happens at, whoops,
80 and 20.
yeah, 80 in the W axis, 20 in the M axis. What's cool with that? All right, now I need to go off and find this one, right? The orange meets the blue. So I already have orange written down. And blue is 800 is 4W plus 16M. So now what?
So now this is this cost in hours.
Yeah, this is the cost and labor intersection. Right, so where does your cost constraint hit your labor constraint? And that happens, I don't know, how do I solve this?
What's up?
Perfect. Multiply the top row by -5. So I get negative 4,000 is negative 20W minus 80 M. Okay, add those two together, get what? Negative 1,600 is negative 40M. So M is 40, and that makes W. Nice try. Good thought though. Where's M is 40, W is 60 on here?
That's the other intersection.
That's, M is 40, right? That's here.
W should also be 40.
That's up here. That's on that acreage line. But I don't have, at that point, I don't have enough hours or seed to plant all the acreage like that. You guys see that? Okay, so this vertex happens when M is 40 and W is, take this, plug it back in up here, get W is 40. So this is actually an interesting point, right? Here, I'm not planting all the acreage. I can't. I don't have the money. Or the labor, actually.
So you can plug it into either equation because the intersection there.
Yeah, I can plug this value into either of these, but I can't plug it into one of the other equations. You guys see that? Okay, so that's this point here. Is what? 40, 40, and thankfully it doesn't matter which order they're in, because I'd probably screw it up. And now should we go find this pink, blue one, just for kicks?
Well,
Just in case our picture's bad?
it's
I-
not
I think it's not, but let's find it anyway.
objective.
If it was extraneous information, it could be, but
All right, so I have blue and pink. So blue's that one. Pink's the 100 equals W plus M. So on solving this, I think I do, all right, I'm going to leave the first equation alone. I'm going to multiply the second equation by like, what?
-4.
Perfect. So I got negative 400 is negative 4W minus 4M. Add these together. I get 12M is 400. That'll tell me what? M is something?
33.33.
100 over 3. And that would mean that W is 200 over 3.
So how do you get the number that you multiply, the -4, and then you have the -5 on the last one, and then?
Oh, I'm just saying, okay.
Addition.
Here there's a 4W, here there's a W. I'd like
So
to
you're just
add
trying
these
to get
together
it.
and have the W's drop out. Okay, so, well, 1W isn't going to cut it. I need minus 4W.
But the one before that, there wasn't a -5.
Yeah, so I multiplied through by -5, I think. Yeah, you just pick something that when you multiply through by it, you'll be able to combine and see something drop out. These guys, I want to check if they match what? So right now I know this matches the blue equation, right? I know it matches the pink. I want to know if I have enough money to plant like this.
So you plug those in.
So if I take these, I plug them into this guy, probably doesn't work.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't. Thank you, Chris. So these two, this point, right, is outside of the orange constraint, just like it is on the picture here. Whoopsies. We don't need that one. That one's not in the feasibility polygon. It's not even on the edge of it, so forget it. All right, so what were my relevant points? What do I need to check in my objective function?
0, 50.
Okay, I had 0, 0. I had 0, 50. I had 100, 0.
80, 20, 40, 40.
I had 80, 20. Oops. 80, 20, and 40, 40. Okay, and I'm doing P to all of these things. And when I have no acreage planted, what should I expect my profit to be?
No.
0.
Well, I mean, 2,400, but yeah.
No.
Principal.
We're not spending anything.
Oh,
on
yeah, I
seeds.
guess I'm not spending anything. It's still not profit. But
No,
all
it's
right.
not cost.
When I do 0, 50, what do I get?
5,000.
5,000. And what does that correspond to?
If you only plant corn.
No. Yes. That's if I plant,
Maize.
and I can only plant 50 acres that way because I run out of, what was blue?
We run out of time, hours.
Yeah, I run out of labor. You guys see that? We don't have time to do that. Or do any more than that, rather. Okay, so if I do 100 and 0, that's planting only wheat, right? What do I make on that? 8,000. And then there's these two kind of happy medium, well, maybe happy medium values, right? So one's when I spend 80 acres on wheat and 20 acres on maize. What do I get out of that?
So we're maximizing seed cost.
I think I get 64,000 plus 2,000.
Well, I got
What?
plus 2,000.
Oh, you did the
Is-
different order than I did.
84,000 or 8,400. What do I keep saying? Sorry, extra zeros.
So that's acreage and seeds.
Yeah, so this was where what? This was where the acreage and the seed cost hit each other. So this is me planting all the acres that I can and spending all my seed money. Okay, what about the 40-40? What do I get out of that one?
7,200.
Okay, 7,200. And what's that one? That one's where I spent
Money and labor.
all my money and I used up all my labor. You guys see that on this one? This maximum one, right? This was my maximum value there, yeah? And what did I use? I used up all the land and all the seed money, but I didn't use all my labor.
Happy workers.
That's actually good for me, right? If I'm a farmer, I'm like, oh, the labor was the thing I didn't want to use all of,
So
right?
On the
Just 'cause
bottom
you
one,
have
you
it,
can't
yes.
fill up your land because you.
Yeah, on the bottom one, I spent too much money and time planting corn to plant everything. That's probably not going to be a great solution either. You see that? Okay, so how do I write the answer to this stuff? Like, did all this stuff, and now
So
I should.
maximum.
The profit maximizing options.
Okay, the max profit of, what was the max profit?
80. 80 acres of wheat and 20 acres of corn.
Yeah, but the max profit was $8,400, right?
Yeah.
Is achieved, that's the wrong letter, by planting,
80 wheat, 20 corn.
yeah, 80 acres of wheat and 20 acres corn. Okay. Cool. You see that? And there's actually some labor time left over, right? You see that?
So the time spent doing this calculation.
Yeah, that's it. That means I can spend some time doing the calculations for next year. Cool? Questions, thanks?